Welcome to the ultimate clash of titans. Brace yourselves for impact.
Welcome back to the 888 podcast, your premier spot for everything wearing a star on its helmet or a purple and gold jersey. I'm Dwayne, alongside my guy Hank, and folks, we have an incredibly packed show for you today. We are broadcasting to you this Friday, August 14th, 2026, and things are heating up. Not just outside in Los Angeles, but all the way over in Oxnard and Woodland Hills.
You said it, Dwayne. The boys are deep into the 2026 training camp under head coach Brian Schottenheimer. And we just got our first real look at this completely revamped roster during Tuesday's joint practice with the Los Angeles Rams. There is a lot of tape to break down today, and I mean a lot.
Let's get right into the trenches. Hank, we have to start with the absolute paradigm shift happening on the defensive side of the ball.
We really do. For over a decade, we've watched this team rely on a traditional 4-3 defense, relying on speed, sideline to sideline linebackers, and upfield penetration. But after giving up a franchise record 511 points last year, they cleaned house and brought in 3-4-year-old Christian Parker as defensive coordinator. And let me tell you, Parker is entirely rewiring this franchise's DNA.
That's right. Parker is installing a multiple 3-4 defensive system, and the physical transformation of this roster is staggering. They traded away Micah Parsons, a premier speed rusher, and brought in massive interior anchors like Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark. Look at the specific weight parameters Parker is demanding for this scheme. Defensive tackles must have a minimum weight floor of 305 pounds, ideally operating between 310 and 325 pounds. Their primary goal is to use that mass and length to absorb interior double teams without giving up ground. 3-4 defensive ends are required to play between 275 and 285 pounds to hold, contain, and prevent perimeter rushing lanes. Edge and outside linebackers need to weigh 250 to 265 pounds, focusing on converting speed into power rather than just running the arc.
And we saw that exact philosophy pay off against the Rams in Woodland Hills. Quinnen Williams was an absolute wall. He was routinely absorbing double teams from the Rams' offensive line without conceding an inch. Because those 300-pound guards couldn't get to the second level, our linebackers were operating with totally clean vision.
Which leads us perfectly to the MVP of that joint practice, reserve linebacker Justin Barron. Barron recorded an astonishing 3 interceptions during the session. He picked off Matthew Stafford once on a complex crossing route by reading his eyes and undercutting the lane, and then he intercepted Rams backup quarterback Stetson Bennett twice.
Don't forget the disguise factor, Dwayne. Elite defenses in the modern NFL disguise coverages pre-snap at nearly 50%. Last year, we were at a miserable 22.1%. Against the Rams, Parker's defense utilized larger defensive linemen to control gaps with just 5 or 6 guys, allowing a too-high safety shell. Every time McVay sent a pre-snap motion, the Cowboys' defense had an immediate, communicated countermeasure. The Rams' staple duo rushing concepts were aggressively defended without yielding any ground.
Under the bright lights of AT&T Stadium, the clock is ticking. It all comes down to this moment.
Let's flip the script and talk offense. Schottenheimer and offensive coordinator Clayton Adams have all 11 starters back from last season, but they are hyper-focused on fixing red zone inefficiencies from late last year.
It was a tale of 2 practices for the offense. Early on, they struggled to get a push in the run game, and the Rams' secondary, led by Trent McDuffie, played incredibly tight physical coverage. Dak Prescott even threw a late interception to Quentin Lake while targeting George Pickens in an early drill. Terence Steele continues to struggle at right tackle. He had a really tough time against Rams edge rusher Byron Young. Young consistently won with speed around the corner, forcing Dak up into the pocket, and then Young transitioned to powerful bull rushers that collapsed the right side of the offensive line.
The right side of the line is a concern, but the left side looks incredibly promising. First-round draft pick Tyler Guyton has a firm grip on the starting left tackle spot, and Schottenheimer called him one of the most talented tackles I've ever been around. Plus, Cooper Beebe has stepped in at center as a powerful force next to Tyler Smith and Tyler Booker.
And how about the perimeter weaponry? George Pickens is having a statistically dominant camp opposite of CeeDee Lamb. Dak has been hitting him on high-leverage back shoulder throws along the sidelines, which forces defenses to keep safety help outside, organically opening the middle of the field for Lamb.
That chemistry really showed in the scripted red zone periods. Inside the 20-yard line, Dak was absolutely surgical, throwing 4 touchdown passes. He connected with CeeDee Lamb twice on quick-hitting, compressed field concepts. He threw a decisive scoring strike to Turpin. He also found imposing rookie tight end Brevin Spanford for a touchdown.
And let's not overlook special teams. Brandon Aubrey is basically a cheat code right now. The guy drilled a simulated 57-yard field goal during a high-pressure team period, and it cleared the uprights with visible distance to spare. Crossing the opponent's 40-yard line almost guarantees points for Dallas at this stage.
All right, before we wrap, we have to step outside the gridiron because there was an absolute earthquake in the sports business world this week. The Los Angeles Lakers just sold for $12.5 billion.
Unbelievable numbers. An ownership syndicate led by former Walt Disney Company CEO Bob Iger and Thrive Capital founder Joshua Kushner acquired the franchise from Mark Walter. Walter had just bought a controlling stake for $10 billion a mere 14 months ago. It's a completely unprecedented quick flip in the history of modern professional sports mergers.
He didn't sell out of strategic patience either. Walter is facing severe DOJ and SEC investigations into his conglomerate, TWG Global. Authorities are scrutinizing approximately $16 billion in undisclosed circular loans. These loans were extended to companies tied to Walter and TWG Global and subsequently parked on the books of his own insurance companies, such as Delaware Life. An amended financial report in June 2026 revealed these self-dealing loans accounted for an astonishing 42% of Delaware Life's loan portfolio, drastically contracting the 3% they previously claimed. Walter sold the Lakers over a single weekend without a formal auction process to generate a rapid $2.5 billion capital gain and secure massive liquidity.
On the buyer's side, Kushner had to pivot fast after his $4.2 billion private equity deal with the FIFA Forward Enterprise was completely shelved following a massive institutional boycott led by the Union of European Football Associations and the Confederation of North Central America and Caribbean Association football leagues, respectively.
Now, the Kushner-Iger group inherits the Luka Dončić era in LA. Dončić, who was acquired in that shocking February 2025 trade for Anthony Davis, signed a 3-year, $165 million extension to stay with the Lakers. That contract intentionally has a player option for 2028 to 2029, perfectly aligning with him hitting 10 years of NBA service, setting him up for a projected $417 million supermax. The Lakers currently have an active team payroll of $201,332,759 for 2026 to 27, with the majority allocated to Dončić, Austin Reeves, and Walker Kessler.
It's going to be a fascinating case study to see if Iger's deep operational media expertise and Kushner's permanent venture capital can finally build a championship infrastructure around Luka, especially with LeBron gone and Rob Pelinka's job heavily rumored to be on the line.
Absolutely. Well, that's all the time we have for today's episode, family. We'll be back next time to break down the Cowboys' first preseason game against the Seattle Seahawks. Now, let's get into I Said What I Said. Said what I said. Welcome to the I Said What I Said segment, where we don't mince words and we don't back down. So if you've got a weak stomach or you're looking for a silver lining, you might want to mute your device because we are not holding back. Today, we need to have a very serious, very honest conversation about the right side of the Dallas Cowboys offensive line, Terence Steele. Let me preface this by saying that the Terence Steele story is an incredible testament to human resilience. This is a guy who came out of Texas Tech in 2020 as an undrafted free agent. He was bypassed by all 32 teams because while he had elite length, his athletic testing was terrifying. At the NFL Combine, he recorded a 5.08 second 20-yard shuttle, placing him in the first percentile for lateral change of direction among NFL athletes. But he came to Dallas, got thrown into the fire as a rookie when La'el Collins got hurt, and he survived. He even fought his way back from a devastating ACL and MCL tear in 2022 to start Week 1 the very next season. I respect the grit, I respect the toughness, but I am sick and tired of the bullshit excuses regarding his actual performance on the field. Here is the absolute reality. Terence Steele is the biggest tactical liability on this entire roster. The Cowboys will never win a Super Bowl with him on the right side. Yeah, I said it. Yes, he is a mauler in the run game. When Clayton Adams calls a gap scheme and Steele gets to fire forward and obliterate a linebacker, he looks like an all-pro. He posted a 70.2 run blocking grade in 2025, ranking 32nd overall. But in the modern NFL, if you cannot protect the quarterback, you are going to get your team killed. And Terence Steele can't protect his own mama, let alone Dak. In 2025, he allowed 52 total pressures, which included 6 sacks and 9 direct quarterback hits. That wasn't just bad. His 52 pressures allowed were the absolute most by any right tackle in the entire fucking league. His pass blocking grade was a miserable 54.9, ranking him 76th overall. We all remember the nightmare in 2023 against the Eagles when Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat humiliated him, giving up 12 pressures and 4 sacks in a single game. And what happens when you have a tackle who lacks lateral foot speed? You get your goddamn lunch eaten for 60 fucking minutes. That's why Steele was flagged 7 times in 2024, including 6 false starts, constantly trying to jump the snap count just to keep up with explosive edge rushers. The front office knows this is a massive problem. That is exactly why they forced him to take a pay cut in March of 2026, dropping his $48.5 million owed down to a revised 3-year deal with a base of $33 million, just to clear immediate salary cap space. Personally, whoever decided it was a good idea to keep this flat tire is a fucking jackass who needs their ass kicked. Yeah, Jerry and Stephen Jones, I'm talking to you two dumbasses. We heard all offseason that this new offensive scheme under Clayton Adams is going to feature more play action and tight end motion to create eye candy and protect Steele from being left on an island. Stephen Jones literally came out and said Steele is going to play much better in this system. But guess what? We just saw him in Oxnard during the joint practice with the Rams, and the tape tells the same story. Rams outside linebacker Byron Young made it a, quote, long morning for Steele, generating rapid pressure on consecutive plays, eating Terence Steele's fucking lunch play after play like it was 5-star buffet, and forcing Dak to scramble. And that was without Myles Garrett even being on the field. We can talk about his run blocking all we want, but until Terence Steele learns how to anchor his 312-pound fat-ass frame against speed-to-power rushers, defensive coordinators are going to relentlessly hunt that matchup in the playoffs. And they will get pressure every single fucking time. Steele is a motherfucking liability, and he needs to sit his fat ass on the bench and hand the real players water and towels. I said what the fuck I said.
To be on the line. Welcome to Hank's Hall of Fame Minute. Dwayne and I believe in giving people their just due, whether positive or negative. Today, we are going strictly positive, and we're talking about an absolute pioneer of the gridiron, Emlyn Lewis Tunnell. This man's life was defined by resilience before he ever stepped onto a professional football field. Born in Bryn Pennsylvania, Tunnell suffered a broken neck in 1942 while playing for the University of Toledo. Because of that severe injury, he was rejected by both the Army and the Navy. But he didn't quit. He joined the U.S. Coast Guard, serving from 1943 to 1946. During World War II, his heroism was on full display when he earned the Silver Life-Saving Medal for rescuing 2 of his shipmates. After leaving the Coast Guard and playing for Iowa from 1946 to 1947, Tunnell did something you couldn't even imagine in today's NFL. In 1948, he literally hitchhiked to New York and asked the Giants for a tryout. He had no agent and no formal invitation, yet he signed a $5,000 contract and made history as one of the league's first African-American players. Nicknamed the Gremlin, Tunnell was a dominant safety and return specialist whose career spanned 14 seasons. He was the defensive backbone for the Giants from 1948 to 1958, helping them secure the 1956 NFL championship. He then finished out his career with the Green Bay Packers from 1959 to 1961, cementing his legacy with another NFL championship in his final season. When he retired, he had completely rewritten the league's record books. Here's what he accomplished during his 14-season career. Career interceptions, 79 interception return yards, 1,282 punt returns, 258 punt return yards, 2,209 Pro Bowl selections, 9 first-team All-Pro selections. 6, Tunnell didn't step away from the game after taking off his cleats. He served as a coach for the Giants from 1963 to 1974. In 1967, he achieved the ultimate recognition by becoming the very first African-American player inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He passed away in 1975 at just 51 years of age, but his legacy is immortalized. He was named to the NFL 1950s All-Decade Team, the NFL 100th Anniversary All-Time Team, and the New York Giants Ring of Honor. He was even named to the Sporting News list of the 100 greatest football players. His character and heroism were so profound that the recognition went beyond football. In 2021, the U.S. Coast Guard commissioned the cutter USCGC Emlyn Tunnell WPC 1145 in his honor. Emlyn Tunnell wasn't just a legendary safety. His career was defined by breaking racial barriers and showing incredible perseverance, making him a lasting symbol of excellence. I'm Hank, closing the books on another legend. Good night, folks.
In the refrigerator, the door's closed, the lights out, the eggs are cooling, the butter's getting hard, and the Jell-O's jiggling.